Hey everybody, welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper live take two. I'm walking the track today with little man, spent a little bit of time outside nature on Sabbath, and I thought I'd give this thing a retry and see if I got this right today. And I've done some tweaks on it. I'm promising by the time that next week rolls around, that I'm gonna have this thing nailed, and I'm just trying to get some practice in on this so we can actually have some good communication later down the road. So today, I'm seeing some people popping up. Hey, good to see you. And if anybody wants to comment some stuff, oh, there you go. I appreciate you. Shalom, brother, to you as well. I'm seeing the comments now. This is going to be epic over time, guys. Love all of you. So something I want to share with y'all today is I've got to figure this out. I'm gonna have to start borrowing Nikki or John's phone to pull up news to read with you. Hey brother, how's it going out there with the tiny house out in California, my man? Anyway, seeing a bunch of my folks here. I know the article I read the other day, I think it was something between satire and between like making fun of the flat earth community. Hey man from Ireland. Hey John, I finally got this live thing working today. Want to say hi to everybody?
Hello.
And so anyway, I read the article and it literally laid out. I'll put a link in the video description to this video when we're done. Okay, and you can go read the article. Because I'm pretty sure I snapped a pic of it as well, and I'm thinking it was in I don't know if it's the Washington Post or the Wall. Anyway, I'll get the link to it, and they pretty much laid out that it is a grand conspiracy, right there. It's a grand conspiracy to hide the true nature of the earth, and that there is an agenda in place. But the thing is they said it all what the flat earth community is pretty much saying as a whole, but they said it as satire, and it was crazy too because at the heart of the matter they attributed it to Lucifer. That's the crazy thing. And I just want to share it with you because I forgot to mention that the other night when I done that live thing. So anyway, let me look at some of these comments here and take a look at it. All right, somebody asked me, what was that? Asked about the chickens. Somebody asked how the chickens are doing. We're still doing hardcore farming. We haven't moved everything over to the new property yet. So that's kind of what's going on with that right now. But eventually the chickens, the goats, part of the cattle, we're going to eventually move to the new land. That's the goalpost for that. When we get back around where I can sit down and chat with you guys, I will here in a minute now that I know that I got this thing working right. But I hope everybody's having a good Sabbath. There's some things that I was looking at the list of things that I wanted to share with everybody. I would tell people, comes time to study, make a choice. Yeah, that's a good comment somebody just dropped right there. It really, at the end of the day, and I said that to a friend of mine at work the other night, is that when it comes down to it, you really only have two decisions. Is you can either go with the heliocentric model or you can go with the flat earth, but you really don't have any other options at the end of the day. And you know, the world we live in, everybody says you have to think and believe this set of way. So that usually tells me that whatever the world's saying, I need to go look at the opposite view because that's usually the truth. Good. Hey, I appreciate that, my man. And like I said, I apologize to you guys for the issues last night trying to figure that out. I apparently messed up a bunch of different settings on it, and eventually Nikki, when I get Nikki synced up with this, I'm gonna have it like a ninja. You say something, I'll be able to get back to you in a heartbeat. So I've said enough. What's been on some of y'all's minds that you have wanted to see on this channel or wanted to ask me? Because I know a lot of people email me, call me, and I try to catch up with y'all. So here you go. It's wide open forum. Lay it out there. All right, guys, there's a bunch of you on here now. Come on, I know somebody's got a question or a comment. Made me think about it. Yeah, that video I made the other day, that I actually posted last night after the live. I'd actually made a video about that a couple days ago. And the fact that most people, I'm torn on this because World's Last Chance has said this. Their thought is that everybody's wrote in the Lamb's Book of Life from the beginning, but people pretty much scratch themselves out through their sins. And I'm torn on that because the more I read the scripture, it pretty much says that some people weren't never written in there from the get-go. And I think that, at the end of the day, I just keep seeing the hearts and minds of people here lately. And I could just lean either way with it because, at the end of the day, I just always see that the people that's going to come to truth, it seems like no matter how they end up there, the X, Y, and Z may be different, but it always ends up the same, is people that will come to the truth, they come to it. And from all different walks of life, different backgrounds. But, for the most part, I don't know about the rest of them. It seems like there is a hardening of the heart now more than there ever has been. Somebody mentioned the New Kingdom. Yeah, I can do a video about the New Kingdom. I think that'd be something inspirational for all of us because Scripture describes the New Kingdom pretty heavy. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but the more and more I study on it, it's second Exodus, I'll get to that in a second. I know a lot of us had conversation about that lately. The New Kingdom, I really believe, guys, with all my heart, it's a pyramid. And I'll tell you why real quick, as I've touched on this in the past. Sorry, I'm just trying to read some of this real quick. Where's the focus chat date preps? I think today, let's just talk faith, guys, because it's Sabbath. We can talk preps anytime during the week, and I'll do one on that coming up. I'm going to do, real quickly, I'm going to do a video either tonight or tomorrow that's going to show how to build a air conditioning unit out of some really simple parts, and it'll use very little power. So just hang tight for that. I'll probably have that video up in a day or two, but I'm going to work on that tonight as soon as the sun sets. I've got pretty much all the parts laying at the house because I know I haven't done a build project in a while. But anyway, real quick, the New Kingdom and the pyramid, and then I'll get to that other that somebody mentioned there, is I think that it's a pyramid, and I'll tell you for why. Satan seems to always emulate anything that the Most High Yah has made or done. And it seems to me that you see the Illuminati, the Freemasonry, the pyramid thing on everything from the dollar bill to you name it. And I think because of that, I think that when the New Kingdom does come down, that the world's going to be like, oh my gosh. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's they're going to think it's probably the devil or aliens or what, when it's actually the Most High's kingdom coming down out of heaven. That's just my thought process on that. But the New Kingdom, I'll definitely make a video about that, guys, because there's a lot detailed out in that. What was that one? Sorry, guys. The comments that pop up and then they dissolve. I've got to figure out how to scroll these back. Second Exodus. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The second Exodus. I don't know how that's going to go down. There's two, I guess they would say there's two classes of theories on the second Exodus. There is those, hey, from Arkansas, there's two theories on that is, one is people are literally going to leave and I guess go back to Israel. Like, all different walks of life, Hebrew, Gentile, the stranger joined to the Most High. I guess there's going to be those. That's a thought process that most people has, is it's going to be, all these people leaving the nations going back to Israel. I lean more to the second one on the second Exodus, which is I think a lot of people will be leaving the cities, fleeing Babylon per se. And I kind of consider the world Babylon, okay? So, I think that as a whole, people will be leaving those cities and fleeing to places of refuge out in rural areas or out in the middle of the wilderness. Guys, listen, if there's anything you can ever gain from this channel, from the Netherlands, is if you can ever gain anything from this channel, is honestly, it's just believe in the Most High, keep His commands, have faith in His Son, and get the heck out of the cities. Just get out of the cities. If you have a place out in the middle of the wilderness, I go work for a lot of people privately, a lot of people, and you got abomination, desolation, run the hills, run for your lives. Block out the fact that we can. I thought you all were crazy till I said that. Don't worry about it, honey. Everybody thinks that people that believe in the flat earth were dumb at first, and then they... Listen, I laughed at the flat earth community at the first. I thought it was the craziest thing ever. Don't let people beat you down about that. John, did I not make fun of the flat earth thing? We thought, dude, we sat and laughed at the YouTube stuff. And then I'll tell you, it was really embarrassing to me. Because when I actually I didn't look at the scripture. That's what really gets me, guys. You know, I always go to scripture first, foremost, and I apologize, my hand's shaking like crazy today. But I didn't go to the scripture first. I went to science, and then that's when it infuriated me. You know, usually when I go to scripture, I get a peace and a calm. I used to, until I tried to debunk it, and I utterly failed. I done the same thing. That's what I'm saying is, there's this guy. He's a Hebrew Israelite, but I think he's the Seventh-day Adventist. It's Controversy 777 or something like that. Guy's got a heart of gold, genuine. I believe he'll be in the kingdom. I believe, you know, a lot more truth, especially Creator's Counter, stuff like that. He's going to get a grasp on it, because I used to be part of the Seventh-day Adventist crowd there. You know, he'll get it together. But anyway, he said the same thing. You know, he was like me. He laughed at it. I think he said he laughed at it too. He was like, oh, this is the craziest thing I ever seen in my life. He went to try to debunk it. And bam, it hit him. And that's the same trend you find with everybody. And you know what that is, though? That is a continuing in the spirit of truth toward the light. Remember the while yeah, that's right, brother. So yeah, it's all a progression in truth. And anyway, sorry, I'm gonna have to learn not to get distracted when I'm reading y'all's comments back and forth here. But you know, I mean, at the end of the day, and that's gonna happen with anything. Listen, I mean, like, the only thing I've ever really laughed at was the flat Earth. By the Ruach HaKodesh, that's right, brother. By the Ruach HaKodesh is the only way we all gonna make it. And when is the abomination of desolation? That's a good question. You know, to me, I would think that the abomination of desolation is when the man of sin sits in the temple of Elohim, proclaiming himself to be Elohim. And now, most people would look at that, well, I mean, the Roman Catholic Church, he sits at, you know, in the so-called temple of the Most High. There's a picture of, like, the man of sin, the Pope, sitting between the two cherubs inside the Roman Church. And, you know, they claim to be able to exonerate people from sin and you know, and so on and so on. Now, I think that there's many anti-Christ. Yay, you're live. Yes, we are. We're going to get this down right, folks. And anyway, so the abomination of desolation, I think, will be when the final law is passed. I think they will help usher in the man that. Yeah, I roughly at the end of it all, I think what's going to happen is we're going to see that there's going to be worship laws instituted and enforced. And I think that when we see that, you know, you're going to worship this way and so on and so on, and then the world gives all that power, whether it's the man of sin in Rome or who, I think that for me personally, that's the abomination that causes desolation, because I look at who was it, Antipatus, that offered the pig. It's in the book of 1st or 2nd Maccabees. It talks about that he went to offer the pig sacrifice on the altar. And I think it was, can't remember who it was, the high priest or somebody ran him through. And I can't remember the story. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't want to misquote this because it's 2nd Maccabees. But yeah, okay, give me just a second. I'll get to that one right there in a second, guys. Is that, you know, I think the abomination causes desolation has got to be the worship of a false worship day, because at the end of the day, the distinguishing mark of those who serve the Most High Yah is those who keep His commands, those who especially honor His Sabbaths. You know, and I think that at the end of the day, that's what's going to be the abomination that causes desolation. Now, I can't guarantee that. I think it'll be so obvious to all of us when that time comes, but I think it will also be very in tune to that, because the 7 trumpets, you know, be taking place and everything. That's another good point, is speaking the truth with love. That's why I don't curse on this channel. That's why, give me another little bit, I'm probably going to have everything demonetized on this channel. I'm pretty sure I may leave some things that are just like build videos that are specifically just build stuff. I may leave that monetized because that can help fund some stuff, as long as I know that the things aren't, profane, and some of the commercial stuff. But yeah, speaking truth with love is got to be always number one. Because now I'll give you an example. Of this is, I have all sorts of friends in my life, from good-hearted folks to atheists to homosexual. I mean, you name it. How do we honor the Sabbath? I'll get to that in just a second. And remind me of that if I don't get to it as soon as I get done with this point right here. But there, I have multitudes of walks of life, people in my life. I love all of humanity, but I always remind people that because I follow Scripture, because I believe in what the Scripture says, and that is the dictate for my life, that defines to me what is right and what is wrong. Okay, so when I tell somebody this is wrong, that's wrong because the Scripture says so, okay? And because the Scripture sets the rules. See, a friend of mine at work the other night told me this, and it was really smart what he said. He said that, people that are, people used to be, you used to never know if somebody was like transgender, I guess it would be, because they either tried to look like a woman or they tried to look like a man. There wasn't no gray area. And nowadays that people, there's these gray areas and stuff like this and things like this that happen in bathrooms, right? That they call that transgender or something like that, but it's actually people that are preying upon other people to do terrible acts to them. Well, what happens is like he said, is when you let people redefine what something is, then they set the rules. Okay, so for example, Sabbath is when you count off from the new moon. New moon day that's the day of itself, Ezekiel 46:1. Then 6 work days, then a Sabbath. But now the good old boys in Rome will say, you're going to count 6 work days on this pagan calendar, and the SUN day, the day of the sun, is Sabbath. Now, see, that's what I'm saying. They set the rules now, okay? So when you let people set the rules, they're moving the chess piece and not you, okay? Well, the Most High Yah has plainly said in Leviticus 23 when his appointed times are, so he sets the rules, and therefore I follow them, not man's. All right. Next, this is like defending what your rights are at all. This is like, yes, sunrise to Sabbath is sunrise to sunset. Is that the lunar Sabbath? Yeah, well, yeah. Sunset to sunset only is on Day of Atonement, exactly. That says that to begin that, all right, and to worship from to keep the Day of Atonement from sunset to sunset, the evening of the 9th to the 10th night. That's the only time it ever says that. If you notice throughout Scripture, day always starts in the beginning of the day, dawn, it ends at dusk. That's 24-hour Sabbath thing, you just don't get it, because look, they came out of Egypt by night. All right, so it's the 15th day they came out, and at night. Okay, so that would have been after the sun went down. All right. So there's all sorts of Scripture back that up, and never feel worried about that. Folks, as soon as the sun sets on Sabbath, I'm yanking tools out left and right. Let me tell you, if I wasn't doing something right, I know the Most High would bless me, because my life's just been better and better and better all along. All right, ever since the more I try to be obedient to it. All right, now there was something that somebody else brought up, and I said to get to next after that point. What was it? Give me just a second. I'll think about what that was that somebody asked on that. Oh, how do we keep Sabbath? Well, now what I do on Sabbath is I do a couple different things. Is one, I either go and visit with my friends and family and fellowship. Me and John usually sit and read about 10 chapters of Scripture together on Sabbath day. And sometimes we'll do 15, and by doing so, we pretty much, you can go through the whole Scripture in a year's time frame. It pretty much should leave room for like Yeshar and Hanok and other things to be read. On Sabbath, if I can go do good things, help somebody, give them some food or something. When I say help something, I'm not saying working. I'm just like, if we can go give them food or do something like that, that's what I try to do on Sabbath. Whenever we can get together and sing and praise together, that's always wonderful. The feast days, I've started trying to get together with everybody and have a big get-together. We just done that Passover this year. This fall, and we'll get some info about that. So all of us from across the land, if you want to come and get together, feel free to do so. And on Sabbath, pretty much I try to have food already cooked so that there's not cooking. That's a good point right there. I'll get to in another second. We always try to have our food cooked on that day. I don't do any work if at all possible, unless it's something holy, like edit a video or do something better the kingdom. But yeah, for the most part, I just try to rest, spend time with family, read the scripture. That's pretty much how I always keep Sabbath. And then as soon as the sun sets, carry on about business as usual. Now, yes, everything's... Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys, if people don't think that we're at the end of the age, they're just crazy. They're either crazy or just literally blind, because I see so many things that are coming up on the earth today that, I have never seen a time and I look at the history books all the time. I look at scripture, I look back through time, and I have never seen a day and age like there is today. Do you have any verses, good verses? I'll try to put some of those in the video description about maintaining peace in times of trouble. Because I'm going to tell you, I am constantly feel like I'm in a struggle in this world. The only peace that you have is the hope of the new kingdom. I'm going to be straight with you. Because I don't know how many times I've said about family and friends stabbing you in the back. The world will drag you down. Everything will try to take you out. You just got to trust the Most High along with that. All right, let's see. But yeah, the troubles of this world, I've never seen a time like this described ever since the days of Noah before the flood. Just personally, I've never seen a time like this, or the events and the technology, I think, that the fallen angels gave before Noah's flood. I think, we're seeing a lot of that reemerge again. Hybridism, you're seeing all sorts of abominational practice take place with man and beast. The sign this fall with the Revelation 12, a lot of people's been talking about that sign in the heavens, the woman clothed in the sun, the 12 stars above her head and the moon at her feet. I have not ran that on the I'll tell you in a second. I haven't ran that on my program thing yet and looked at that, but everything that I've seen so far, that seems to be pretty lined up. And I want to tell you, this fall, if things kick off this fall, I wouldn't be surprised, because guys, before I'll try to keep this video at 30 minutes today in case people do want to watch it later, because I know that'll be a trickle factor later, is the sign of the woman. You see that in Revelation 12. If you look at Damascus and 2nd Esdras, I'm telling you, if you have time today, you need to go read 2nd Esdras chapter 16. It's like 5 minutes of your time, okay? I'm still trying to understand what's... No, I'll get to... Paula, just give me a second and I'll get to that, okay? Is that this 2nd Esdras, and it talks about the woe to you, Babylon, Asia, woe to Egypt, Damascus. Ladies and gentlemen, if we see Damascus in a ruinous heap this fall, okay, we really seriously need to have our preps and stuff get together. We need to really have it all together to go to the woods, because, and I'm telling you, shortly thereafter that, it says the beginning of, it literally details out right there in that chapter, out of all the writings in Scripture we can find, it has a hash-off mark that this is the beginning of sorrows. So that's for us, the last generation. Just like the Book of Enoch says, for the last generation, these things were wrote. There you go. There's 2 hash marks we have to go off of. It plainly says the beginning of sorrows, all right? So, you see Damascus, a heap of ruin. It's time to get ready. All right, now Sabbath. Okay, listen, guys. I can sit here all day and try to explain Sabbath to you. The calendar. Worldslastchance.com is a wonderful resource. All right, there is an app on there that you can download for your phone, download for your computer, and you can easily find Sabbath. All right, and I'm going to do some more videos and more talk about Sabbath, especially this summer. Now that I've got some free time next month, before I leave out on another adventure. But okay, now the lesser stars and stuff that's in the firmament, guys, Enoch talks about that being wandering stars, okay, is what that's designed as. I try not to label the planets, or the so-called planets and stuff like that. No. Well, I don't know about that website, but it's just worldslastchance.com. Full road out. All right, I'll put it in the video description below, and that way you can see, because now the Creator's calendar runs through the Roman calendar, because it's just purely solar. Okay, and look, it'll take you time to get adjusted to that. Okay, it's not one and the same with the Roman calendar. Okay. Now, guys, I've heard a lot of talk about, you're welcome, hon. I hope that's a blessing to you. Just be patient with it. It takes some time to detox Rome out of your life, okay? Believe me, it took me. The Nibiru thing. Last few minutes here before we end this video today, and I hope this video's helped to you guys. I've enjoyed talking with you, and we'll get this to a science before long. Oh gosh, I use the word science. I try not to use the word science anymore because it's used to back up so many satanic things. Yeah, I think that was what I was going to get at. The Nibiru thing. I've looked at that, guys. I have been an astronomer for years, okay? And the Nibiru thing, I've seen so many people like, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it never comes. Everywhere they say it's at, it never comes. And I don't think it ever is going to come. Now, the wormwood situation, I think that, whatever is cast into the sea during the trumpets, I think that is going to be directly cast from above the firmament down. And that's the one thing as a flat earther, if somebody called me out on it right now, where's meteorites and all this stuff come from? I don't have an answer for you. I mean, satellites, all this other garbage, I got answers. I just don't have answers for the meteorite thing. And I'm trying to work on that. The power of words come from... Yeah. That is true. It's all in how you say things. It really is. Let's see. Flat Earth. And the dome. Well, yeah, flat Earth under a dome makes things very simple. Me and John's talked about it before. He was playing Minecraft one day or something. And there's a lot of stuff on Minecraft I don't approve of, but he just pretty much used it like Legos. And we were talking about it one day. So if you look at Minecraft, the moon and sun move in Minecraft, but you can't go to them. Well, without that mod, right, John? There's a mod for everything. You can't do this? We'll make a mod for that. But anyway, you can't go to the moon and sun, but yet they follow their course in the heavens above. And the stars are fixed in the heavens up there on the Minecraft game. And yet there is a Sheol, place below. But the above ground, you have your flat, stationary earth there, and there's just so many things in Minecraft that I'm almost like, are you subliminally trying to tell people the world is flat? Just saying. A happy Sabbath to you as well. And I don't know, there's just a lot of things I see out there that, and it's like in the media, the TV shows, no satellites, aliens, damn. You got it, guys. That trip to Mars thing, ain't nobody going to Mars. There ain't nobody going... Listen, the satellite thing, Google Loon Project, if you have not looked it up, if you did see the little mini documentary I made about the global eye the other day, who puts balloons in the sky with LTE, right? If you already have a bazillion satellites up there. I mean, that's just stupid. And then I seen this TV tower the other day that was... I watched a video somebody posted on there, and it was to be live while you're driving. I have no idea. That's a very good question. I have no idea how I'm getting feed to be live right now while I'm driving, because I am not near Wi-Fi. See, I'm learning this stuff. I have no idea. It must be transmitted direct from my LTE. Oh, I bet it's on one of them Google balloons that's flying over right now, right? Thank you for the information. Hey, you're welcome. Guys, in between the day after tomorrow, for those that are out here right now, day after tomorrow on New Moon Day, I'm going to sit down around lunchtime, 12 o'clock Eastern time, and do a live video. If you have questions, if you have things you want to share, heck, if you have things you want to call me out on, just write it down and share it with me that day, because I don't know everything. And, the one thing we all should be doing in the last days is edifying one another. At Passover, I sat and listened to the elders speak, and they were telling me things, and I was like, you know what? This is why it is so important. This is why I preach it all the time. That the elders should lead the people, and yes, that's right. Whoever just wrote that, yes, the so-called black men are the true Hebrew Israelites. We, the rest of the nations of the world, we are the what would be defined in the scripture as a stranger, okay, joined to the Most High. We do a video every Sabbath. I've been thinking about I was going to do the video thing the night before Sabbath, but I think what I'm going to do from now on, guys, is on Sabbath. I know for sure I'm home, and so I think I'm going to edit that and just move to doing video on Sabbath, and that way we all know for sure that I'm freed up and can talk with. Absolutely, the Most High Son was a dark man. There is just the whitewash on that. That is why the so-called Hebrew Israelite man hates the white man, is because, or not all of them, but that is because Vatican whitewashed it, yes, and that is why you have to be patient with these people. You have got to love the so-called black man with more love than you do with your normal person, because they've been mistreated. Deuteronomy 28 just wrote all over them. Me and John just literally read Deuteronomy 28 today, and it is very, very clear that these people have been mistreated, okay? And you've got to be patient with that, because if I was mistreated for the sins of my ancestors and I just woke up to this, I'd have a frustration level too, okay? And, you've got to be patient with that, because, listen, one day these people are going to be put back into their land. And they're going to be loved because they are the apple of his eye and they are his treasure. And I promise you, if you don't treat them as treasure, it's not going to end well for you, all right? No, the Sabbath on the SAT day, there's no... Listen, if you go and look at this, and I'll pull this up in I'll use somebody else's phone in the video while I'm doing this. So one day I'll pull this up while we're talking, okay? We'll do this next Sabbath. That's what we're going to do on next Sabbath, is we're going to talk about the Sabbath, finding it, right? And we'll finish this video up on this today. Is that when you look at the calendars, all right, the lunar solar scriptural calendar and the solar calendar are not one and the same. If you're looking at the calendar, the one floats through the other one, all right? Believe me, it is a struggle in business, all right? It's a struggle in business, all right? But the best thing I can encourage you is, especially if you live in America, your employer cannot fire you for keeping the Sabbath. And if they do, praise the Most High. Go sue their hind end, all right? Because they can't do that to you right now. Now, I promise you a time is coming that they're probably going to be able to persecute you, indemnified, held blameless. All right, but that day ain't today. All right, now, if you can do like me and work for yourself, it alleviates a lot of it. Because I tell customers, I'm like, I ain't going to be there for you today, all right? Plus, you get dirt cheap pricing on your off-grid install, so when I get there, I'll get there. Now, it's not a moon calendar. It's not a sun calendar. It is a lunisolar calendar. The sun determines the day starting and ending. The lunations of the moon determine when the new month starts. First visible light going on to the moon, dawn after conjunction. And the scripture talks about it. You read the book of Enoch, okay? And we'll get into all this next Sabbath live. Is you look at it, and then it says when all the light is gone out of her, that's when she's accomplished her month, okay? So that gives you the start and stop of a month. Okay, and so some months there's 29 days, some days there's 30 days. All right, and that's a translation day. But you always start the month with new moon, and you go from 6 working days, and then a Sabbath. And people's like, well, oh, blessing to you, that's wonderful. And so if you look at that, I have a challenge for anybody that says the lunisolar scriptural calendar ain't right, guys. All right, I'll leave you with this last thought so you can fire back on this new moon day. The book of Yeshar, 88th chapter, okay? Go Google that today. It says that the Battle of Jericho began on New Moon Day, okay? And it lasted 6 working days after, past the first day. And then the battle ended. All right, well, that would have been 7 work days total, but the next day was Sabbath. All right, so you can check this out in the book of Yeshar, 88th chapter. It tells this. How do you have this 7-day battle and never profane the Torah, the book of Yeshar? You can look it up. It's Yasher or Jasher. Just Google it. Either one of them bring it up for you. And 88th chapter, okay? Just read it full context, because I don't like to be one of these Joel Osteen's line and verse. Let's talk about it, folks, and feel good inside and send me $5. No, Luke ain't like that, all right? Just read the whole thing, all right? And the truth will set you free. And when you see that, that means that, okay, if it was a 7-day battle on the Roman calendar, then that's right, spell it out like that, and you'll find it. That means that would profane the Sabbath. But the Most High don't break his own commands. So if they started marching around the Battle of Jericho, okay, on New Moon Day, let's count together, simple mathematics. There's 1, day 1, new moon. Day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. All right, so there was New Moon Day and 6 work days. The 8th day was next. All right. I'm going to answer that one real quick too, and then I'm going to cut this feed for today. Are you Esau? The white man is not Esau, guys. All right, I'm telling you, Esau. Listen, the genealogy. That's right. Endless genealogies things gets ridiculous. First and foremost is this: Esau. Even the scripture when it talks about the children of Israel when they came out, they weren't supposed to mistreat Esau. No matter, you know, that's the Edomite, the whole deal like that. That's irrelevant because they're not supposed to be mistreated, and you're not supposed to mistreat children of Israel. But let's just say for a moment that you do the whole Esau thing, that Esau's the white man. Then how do you get two children that come from the same mother and the one's black and the one's white? Break that down for me. Okay? It just don't happen, guys. And even even Hebrew Israelites waking up are like, this is the stupidest argument that I've ever seen. Esau was red-haired. Okay? He was a hairy man. All right? And here's the one is albino. No. Get this. The book of Noah, or in the book of Enoch, it talks about Noah, that he was born white. Okay? This shocked his dad. Okay? It freaked him out. But he was a sign unto the world of what was coming. I believe that marker passed on to Japheth, which I've talked about this in a separate video about that. Alright? The so-called black man is the true Hebrew Israelite, and therefore his brother, alright, the Esau, has got to be somebody of that likewise nature. Arabic, you know, I mean, I've seen, I don't know if this may be a shock to some people, but I have seen so-called black folk with red hair and hairy over, okay? So, when you ask where... And so that's what I'm getting at is you just don't have to worry about this kind of thing. And at the end of the day, here's what's going to be hard for a lot of folks right here, all right? And last thought I'll leave with you is that there's going to be people from every walk in life, Edomite, Hebrew, from every genealogy. As long as they have accepted Messiah, kept the Father's commands, and believed in the Most High, they're going to be there. As long as, if He sees fit for them to be there. And so that's going to be a hard break for a lot of people. So guys, anyway, I'll see you day after tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern time. And until we see you again here at Seven Trumpets Prepper Channel, I hope you have a most blessed day in Yahushua's name.